Oh, I'm so unprepared for this, just like every day. Hey, what's up, America? It's the Eric and Rodney show with Robin, presented by Offensively Creative and Dinsmore Steel. I'm America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan, and I own Offensively Creative. That's Rod, the PEO god. He owns Dinsmore Steel. We have the thriller from Manila / air traffic controller, Robin Valdez. And ladies and gentlemen, very important guest, very special guest, all the way from Costa Rica, Molly Ruland, Heartcast Media. Welcome.
Welcome, Molly.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What a beautiful background.
Oh, you got a dog or a cat or a wolf? What just happened back there?
It's a combination. It's a hybrid. We have those here in Costa Rica.
Oh, what are those? Is it a goat sucker? Is it a chupacabra? Is that what it is?
No, that's the rest of Central America. Not here.
Oh, you don't have goat suckers in Costa Rica?
That's I think that's a scary animal.
Whatever
the or mythical animal. I mean, I don't know what
it's real.
I don't know.
Aren't they just big guinea pigs? That's what they are, right?
Chupacabras? No, that's a capybara.
No, a chupacabra I thought was a scary mythical creature in a story. Seriously, maybe I'm wrong.
I thought it sucked goat blood. No, God.
Well,
not only is our audio terrible,
maybe.
but we're also stupid. Hold on, before we get started.
That's true.
We're off to a great start already.
Molly, if you take all of the hosts of this show, excluding yourself, and add us together, our IQ's around about 100, maybe 125.
Yeah,
so we're batting 1,000.
I like the symmetry here. So, Molly, I don't know. Actually, you did say you saw the show. So, in the beginning, we talk about the news, and then we interview you. But I do want to get to you real quick because you have this. You said about podcasts, you said you need to look good, sound good, and know what you're talking about. But I think 1 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Because you take what you can get. You know what I mean?
Objectively, we're one of the more fuckable shows on LinkedIn. I mean, it's a low bar.
I have to agree.
Swipe
we're
right.
the hottest guys at the burn unit, but I think we're doing all right.
Listen, before we got on here, right? People didn't even know that there was LinkedIn Live. So let's just. I'd never even heard of it. And then Eric informed me it had been out since 2019. So I said, LinkedIn Live has been around since 2019 and it's 2023 and I've never heard of it. Wow.
Now the world has heard of it, which is thanks to us.
Yeah.
Well, they made it very difficult to get approved. So you had to apply to be able to go live, and then they denied a majority of people, and I'm not really sure why. But we got approved pretty early, and then we would try to get our clients set up, and they would wait months and months and months, and then never get a response. Reply multiple times and not get a response.
It's like a fucking carousel. They don't let everybody do carousels. Why?
It sounds like Microsoft.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you're in the elite of LinkedIn here. So.
How'd we get approved?
You know what? I can tell you how we got approved. They've never heard of us. They don't even know we're doing it.
Intern on the job for sure.
You know the basement?
Mm-hmm.
Under that.
A little below there.
We're underground.
We got to get to the news, but the guy that chops up our videos into small sections, he's doing a great job. Juan Garcia, by the way.
He is doing a great job.
Great job. He said it's impossible to get kicked off of LinkedIn. So no matter what we do, we're safe. So this is a safe space, everybody.
That sounds like a challenge.
It's just impossible to get on. It says, but not to get off.
Yeah. Once you're on forever. All right. So Molly, you've seen the show. I'm sure you know every day there's a reason to celebrate here in the United States. But this is the saddest one I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
My dear God. Oh, it's World Temperance Day. This is going to please the nerds on LinkedIn who don't drink like a bunch of dorks. If you don't drink, you just feel the same all day long. Like you're here now, and then later in the day, you're also going to feel this exact same way, and that's good. That's nice to people. I don't understand.
Now, Robin, I'm going to ask for Robin. What does temperance mean?
I'm
I
Irish.
don't even know.
Yeah, I'm Irish. I don't know what that means.
I don't. What is this foreign language you're saying on this there?
British word for sure.
What's wrong with these glasses? Something's horribly wrong. So I did a little digging because I think Americans I often wonder if the concept of not drinking exists in the rest of the world or it's only us because we're Puritan dorks. So then I did a little research. This is alcohol consumption in the world. Now, God damn it, we don't even make the top 10. Look at this.
Yikes.
My people, though, representing
people coming in hot in the back half. But we're losing to the Czech Republic. We're losing to Latvia, Moldova. I mean, what the fuck? We should be embarrassed.
Yeah, I figured we would be number one. I figured we would have all 10.
No, we're one of the fattest countries in the world, and our calories aren't even coming from liquid, which is embarrassing. This is just terrible.
They're coming from jalapeno poppers on the back.
Oh man, Molly, Robin's never had a jalapeno popper.
We want to get our body weight in them.
Very sad.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. It's complete lunacy.
I don't see the Philippines up here either, buddy boy.
No, they don't
No,
drink there.
I think the U.S. isn't up here because they're drinking too much beer. This is like alcohol consumption percent, I think. So maybe we need to drink harder.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Listen, everybody here drinks wine. Everybody drinks wine. Eric, tell them.
Oh my God. Do you know what's coming up next? The wine chart. So this is the most
we didn't do this either.
thing. Molly, speaking of the Irish, the Vatican City is only 109 acres. And you go, what Irish? How is this? How are they out drinking Ireland?
They got a lot more guilt than us. You know what I'm saying? We haven't been, ruining the world.
You know what I bet they're doing right now? I tell you what I bet they're doing. I bet in Vatican City they are turning water into wine.
Well, that was my point. They're drinking a lot of Jesus blood. They're really living. His blood alcohol level is.
They are taking communion all day.
But how does a place that it's 109 acres? You could mow Vatican City in one day, and they're out drinking the rest of the world. That's very, very impressive. Way to go.
Well,
you've got Italy, Austria, Germany, the UK, Vatican City. That's a lot of guilt.
That is a lot of guilt.
That's a lot of guilt.
Robin, what do you think they're so guilty of in Vatican City? Is there a common thread about what they might be guilty of? Feeling the remorse?
I live in the Philippines, and it's a very Catholic country, so no comment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We're gonna get kicked off LinkedIn one way or the other. Okay. Let's go with the news because I have a lot of questions for Molly. And Molly has a lot of advice for us, I'm sure.
Okay, so the first story reminds me a little bit of what our guest Fabian said the other day. So he said, in order for us to have progress, there always has to be a little timeline where we go backwards for a bit. So I don't know how common Rivian is where you guys are. It's
common.
Oh, it is. Okay, well, they're saying they're losing about $33K per electric truck that they're selling. That's pretty bad.
It's pretty terrible. Bad considering that it's $80,000 for the base model. They're losing $33,000 every time. What experts say is that they have to charge $96,000 and cut costs to break even. So I just think this is a fundamental misreading of the market because people that buy big dumb trucks don't give a fuck about the environment. It's like a rainbow flag AR-15 or pumpkin spice heroin. Reading them, no one cares about the stupid shit that you're doing.
Right. Wait, did you say pumpkin spice?
Pumpkin spice heroin is the equivalent of an electric.
I got to disagree with you there. I think people would like that, especially outside of Starbucks.
Okay, you're right. Pumpkin spice has permeated the globe.
I'm joking.
Well, so I have a little insight on this. So there's a company called Raglan, I think, or Rag. I can never remember the name, but they make. They have taken the old Land Rover bodies and turned them into electric vehicles that are strictly sold to the military. And so the military is actually using a ton of electric vehicles.
Oh, just like that Trump bit. Oh, interesting.
And I think, it's kind of like the Trump comment from earlier before we were online. Like, I don't think it's about saving the planet. I think I don't know what their deal is. This feels like vanity metrics. Like, we're going to make this big fancy truck. We're going to lose a bunch of money on it. Yeah. But I think the motivation in the electric vehicles is they can go longer without needing to be refueled. No. Right. And so in a battle scenario, you can't look for a gas station, on the battlefield.
No, that would be weird.
But you can bring these massively powerful small battery packs that will actually recharge these things inside the vehicle so you don't even have to stop. But that's different. Those military operations are totally different than some douchebag with a bunch of money. I don't think they really care about saving the world either.
Well, that's the thing is you never see you never see a Trump flag on a Prius because those people don't vote for that way. You see a lot of Trump flags on stupid big pickup trucks. That's the audience. I don't know if my veins.
Well, can I just say this about Rivian? So Rivian, a couple of interesting facts is that they originally made a truck, like a pickup truck, and that's what they sold. And then they started making this. Yeah, I own quite a bit of their stock, and then I sold out of it. But Amazon gave them quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, if you're losing $33,000, now I'm just a simple businessman, then this is what I would say is that you increase the truck by $35,000.
Oh man, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's
it's just brainstorming here, right?
Revolutionary.
Yeah,
Molly, I think you have to something too, though.
I'll be here all week.
Rivian should hire you.
Yeah.
I think this is a classic case of greenwashing because ostensibly electric vehicles are better for the government, right? But if you make them $96,000 or $80,000, no one can afford them, which means it's a moot point. So unless
That's right.
the general public can get behind this and buy a bunch of these and then, usher out gas-powered vehicles, it doesn't fucking matter. So you're right. It's just a vanity project. You know how I know that also? One of the big things, they mentioned this twice in the article, that it has flashlights in the doors. Who gives a fuck? Why is it a feature? This is worth $80,000. This thing has a flashlight.
Can I tell you a secret, Eric?
What's
Eric,
that?
can I tell you a secret? I don't know if you guys know this or not. They should hire me immediately. You see that little cutout down there underneath the door handle?
Yeah.
In my wife and my car, we both have flashlights. You're not gonna believe it. And you know what? I got them. You're never gonna believe this.
Yeah.
I was at the Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? You're not gonna believe the 2 flashlights for the price of 1. Bing, bang, boom.
So wait a second. You're going to tell me there's a way to store a flashlight in your car that doesn't involve boring a hole into the side of it?
I was
Get out of here.
as you are. Blown away, really.
Topsy-turvy world. You know what I mean?
Nothing makes sense. Black is white, white is black. I was thinking from a marketing perspective, the only way they could sell these, remember in Titanic, the 2 main characters smashed in the Model T? What if Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have sex in a Rivian? Don't you think? I know. Genius.
Especially if they would have sex in multiple cars and then they could sell them.
Yes.
What about these 2 nerds?
What's that?
What about these 2 nerds?
Oh, these 2 nerds. Or Gary Busey. He's having a moment with buttered sausage. Remember?
Yeah, Gary is having a moment.
Maybe they wouldn't need such a big car if they both sat in the front,
Yeah, that's a good point. And why is there only 2 people in the car? Like, wouldn't you want to showcase that this electric vehicle that's 55,000 pounds can haul a bunch of people, right?
It's like the Last Supper of electric vehicles.
I'm glad you brought up the Last Supper and they're sitting on the same side.
Like that segue.
Yeah. You ever heard that joke? So Jesus and his disciples go out for the Last Supper and he goes table for 26. And he goes, but there's only 13. We're all going to sit on the same side.
Yeah. That's kind of where that was coming from. But yeah.
I know. You can tell our audience, Chupacabra's back. All right.
I haven't heard that one, but that's good.
That's good, right? Oh, this one, Robin, this is the most depressing story we've ever done, and I kind of hate you for this.
Yeah, this story's the worst, but like in retrospect, it is nice that humanity is still strong, like in the worst places possible.
All right, that's an Excel job.
So obviously we're jumping to Ukraine. It's been about a year and a half since Russia's special military operation. And America has school shootings, but in Ukraine they have school obliterations. So they've lost close to 400 schools since the start of the Russian artillery and drone strikes. And the kids and the teachers now have to resort to underground shelters, and their schools are now where the metro systems used to be. That's pretty wild.
I need to take a moment. This is look at the joy and happiness of rainbows and bright colors, and it's underground so they don't get fucking murdered. Oh, what is wrong with everybody and everything? It's just so weird because imagine you're in a neighborhood, right? And someone's killing children to the point where they have to hide underground to get an education. Our brains would melt with rage and hatred and solutions. But as soon as war happens, oh no, that's fine. It's just this is what happens in war. We're big dumb animals, and it's disgusting. I hate everything about this. It makes me want to die, especially because I have a kid that's in 1st grade. Can you imagine sending your child to school not knowing if they were going to get bombed by the fucking Russians? I know this has happened all throughout humanity, but it's happening now. We have pictures now. It's way worse.
Can I just make a suggestion? Eric's not gonna like it. Robin will, and Robin knows where it's going. Are you suggesting homeschool?
Yes.
Rodney, their homes are being blown up too, just to be fair.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's a good point. Yes.
You know how I know that? Because they're dancing in the streets where buildings. There's no safety here. I know.
I got to be honest. Just as a question, and I know we don't know the answer. Didn't we send some money over there? Why can't we get some help, some tanks or something? What is going on?
Why can't we get them some electric tanks? I know. What the fuck?
No, I'm serious. I heard that Russia's using equipment from like the 70s.
Yeah.
What in the world are we doing? I feel like at this point we could just light the money on fire and shoot it out of a cannon.
You would think that we could help them win this thing, right?
Yes. My God.
So this point. I drink all day and no one's bombing my schools as far as it. Oh, now I'm going to jinx myself. Yeah. But yeah, man, the world is a crazy fucking place. I got
to think if you had the U.S., I just equate this to pickleball for a second. I feel like having the U.S. as your partner is like having Ben Johns and his brother. I mean, my God, how do you not win this thing? This number 1 and 2 in the world.
Well, I
How
think
you how you constantly manage to equate stuff to pickleball amazes me
That's
every
really
day.
a skill and an art. It's very
It
impressive.
is. Thank you.
No, I am
15
constantly in
yesterday
awe.
on the courts. 15-1 yesterday on the courts. But I don't want to digress. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like Ukraine, like Russia should already. I feel like Ukraine should have invaded Russia at this point with our help, right?
Well, the real problem is the nuclear weapons because 10 wipes out the world. It
But don't we have some? Don't
Yes,
we got a couple?
Yeah, but if everyone shoots off 10 and there's like 3,000 in the world, we all die forever. No more chupacabras,
Right.
no more
That's true.
Rivians.
Then we got to send in the SEAL Team 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12
I know.
to
We gotta
finish
be-
off Vlad
Oh,
and his
this is-
cronies.
Oh God, look at this.
I mean-
oh my, this is gonna haunt me for the rest of my days. Which, if I keep drinking, will be soon, which is nice. Nice little caveat to that whole thing. Oh, I can't look at it anymore. Let's do the next story before I kill myself.
Please.
Delete that picture from your computer. No more
I
sad
can't.
days. Get it out.
Or
We
Ukrainian
should.
children.
We should. Okay. So the next story I got to tell you, nothing really screams America in a nutshell, is this one. So there's a deer population crisis in Catalina, and well, is it Catalina or Catalina?
I think it's Catalina.
It's a Catalina
Catalina,
wine
okay.
mixer, please.
Yeah, from Step Brothers. I thought that was yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the local government plan is to send in the choppers and strap them with like a bunch of AR-15s and just go to town on the rabid deers. So they argue that the island is failing because of drought and rising temperatures. I'm not so sure how much this is caused by the deer population.
Mm-hmm. First of all, Catalina looks gorgeous. I mean, really.
This is the affected area.
This is the affected area. Here's the culprit. We have way too many of these motherfuckers. Evidently, there's like 1,800 too many of this invasive species. So we've come up with a brilliant idea. We're going to strap hillbillies to with AR-15s. This begs. Okay,
Is this real?
This is a real story.
Very real.
In the
Wow.
United States, there are 300 million Americans. There are 433 million guns. There's more than a gun for everyone. How the fuck are there too many deers? You're allowed to shoot deer. Stop shooting schools. Stop shooting grocery stores and movie theaters. Just shoot deer. Get all your rage out on these things. There's too many and it's legal. Oy, oy, oy.
Can I make a counterpoint? If the deer
Please.
have turned the place looking like that, maybe we send them here. Send
That's
them on
true.
down to New York. We need you desperately.
Massachusetts.
come on down.
Molly, is this where you live? This is Costa Rica, right?
It looks well, no, that's much more advanced, honestly.
What Costa Rica is?
No, Catalina.
Oh,
Mm.
Do you support this initiative? Just strapping hillbillies to helicopters with AR-15s?
I mean, no, I love when like things are flying around in the sky, hailing bullets down. You know what I mean? That's like a Saturday afternoon special, if you ask me. Like nothing says.
Has that guy got his seatbelt on? Because I got to be honest, a couple of wrong moves with a machine gun, and he's going to be down there with the deer. But he's not going to be shooting. He's going to be crawling if he's still alive.
Well, that's the next phase of
Right.
the operation. They land on the deer and kill him. Now.
Oh, I
And
see.
that's,
It's a sneak
genius.
attack.
You know, they say something like
Dang
20,
it.
the 20 million American children go to bed hungry at night. Not anymore. We get a lot of deer to eat. A lot of fucking
Come on,
deer.
man. That's a lot of jerky.
That's a shit
Yeah,
ton of
yeah.
jerky. Look at this. Problem solved. Oh, man. American ingenuity. I wonder why they use AR-15s. Is it because they're meant to kill a lot of things at once? Maybe civilians shouldn't have such things. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I'm no expert in riddling things with bullets by any stretch, but I would imagine that a deer riddled with a whole bunch of bullets is not going to be a super tasty meal. So it feels.
No, you got to work around it.
counterintuitive.
I don't listen. If you're a homeless kid, you know beggars can't be choosers, right? You eat around the bullets. This is
Can I
America.
make one other point, Eric, that you may not have seen that that I think everyone will appreciate is that I had heard a while back that there was no certain path for Kyle Rittenhouse to a new career.
Oh,
I think there is.
House. Well, we got a job for you.
Well, we've got we've got an entire department for you to run
This one send
Yeah,
him there.
right here. That's right.
Tell Rittenhouse these guys are going to go loot a Target and forget about it.
Genius.
In California, like, listen, I think we're all pretty famously left, but there's a lot of people that are against this initiative. My politics aside, I always default to the experts. And if environmentalists are saying that this is an invasive species and 1,800 of them need to die, how about we listen to the scientists? Can we listen to scientists for 5 minutes? This time it's murder. We get to murder things thanks to scientists. Can we just do that?
Well, no, we care more about animals than people. Come on, get it together, man.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I could never shoot this thing, but there's a lot of hillbillies who have big guns. Yeah, well, okay. Well, we solved that problem.
Well, there's like a really big petition of people that are against this as well. So I think that's the main problem.
Yeah, it's Californians don't want to. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and why do they need to involve a helicopter? Why don't they just go on the ground? Like, it just feels so extra.
It's America.
It does.
That's why.
Yeah.
Are we going to be reasonable? We're going to start being reasonable now.
The Blue Angels are going to get involved. It's going to be.
You know what we should do is nuke them. Have we considered nuking them?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
come on.
I know.
Who needs vegetables?
Have we considered talking to them?
Have we asked them to leave? Maybe they don't know that they're invasive.
Maybe they don't
First
identify
later.
as deer and they don't see themselves as a problem.
You know what we should do? I think we should put them on a bus and send them down to Florida.
Problem solved.
Send them to Joe Biden's house.
Oh, aren't there a lot of invasive snakes? That would happen, all right? And that's a little deer snake war. This next story pleases the shit out of me, by the way.
Phew.
But it does me too. So this one's quite hilarious because I can only imagine how this topic was brought up. So there's this high school teacher from Missouri, and she was placed on leave because district officials found her OnlyFans account, which is embarrassing because it means that some of those officials are dudes that have OnlyFans subscriptions. Anyway, so the teacher was making $42K a year, and with the OnlyFans, she's making $10K a month. So, I mean, Eric, you have a kid. Would you oppose if his teacher, had an OnlyFans?
Not if she looked like this. So here's the thing. I think, okay, I watched that Barney documentary. It's called I Love You, You Hate Me. And Barney got in trouble because the guy in the suit that danced around was into tantric sex. Now, he never touched a kid, but you cannot be involved in the sex industry at all if you're gonna have anything to do with children occupationally. You just can't do it.
Yeah, that's true.
One doesn't necessarily mean the other, but you just, in the United States of America, you just can't fucking do it. So I don't blame her for having an OnlyFans. And Robin, you're never going to guess who found her OnlyFans last night. It's fucking incredible. You should sign up. But why do we hate our children? This woman is being paid $48,000 a year to teach our kids. Why do we shoot them? Why do we not pay teachers enough? What is going on? $48,000, but she's making $10,000 a month on OnlyFans? What is that?
I mean, I think we should thank her for continuing to teach.
I agree with you.
Honestly, if I was making 30 stacks a month, I'd be like, suck it, kids, I'm out. You guys can teach yourselves. Why would I come back for free?
Yeah, she obviously wasn't a math teacher, was she? Because this just seems like common sense to me. If somebody came to me and were like, listen, we're going to fire you from the job that you can replace in 4 months, I'd be like, take care.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another question, Eric, that people are overlooking.
Yeah.
She was teaching in the morning and in the evening.
Exactly.
So different audience.
Oh,
she just loves education.
Teaching is at her soul.
I mean, is her OnlyFans account like, because there's people that they're not that graphic on there. So I mean,
I'm glad you asked, and this is the kind of research we do for this show.
It's important.
I'm guessing you did a deep dive, Eric.
He knows everything.
You took one for the team.
You're welcome, by the way. If you could imagine it, she's doing it. She is.
Okay.
She is. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Is she just on a bed laying down, spending her $48,000 salary on stripper heels? No.
Now you were able to get this from a free preview. Wow. She's really going the extra miles.
Well, since this story caught fire, there's been a lot more of her content out there. The general public is interested.
The public has demanded it.
Yeah. No, obviously. But so what's exciting as a high schooler is finding out that your hot math teacher has an OnlyFans. You know what's awful though? Finding out your homeschool teacher has an OnlyFans. Get it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Can I just make one other comment about OnlyFans while we're on the topic? I was reading this morning, right? And is everyone familiar with Black China? Does everyone know who she is? So her real name is Angela White, and she has gotten rid of her implants and facial, whatever she had done, she's gotten rid of all of it, right?
Yeah.
But I was reading further in the story, and it said that she's fighting Tyga, right, the rapper, for custody of their son, their son, whatever. And it said that in 2021, she made $240 million on OnlyFans.
That's outrageous. Well,
now, here's the crazy part of the article. Why in the world is she ever working again?
I don't know. So I think we talked about it before, but the bathwater chick, Belle Delphine, was making $20 million a month on OnlyFans. $20 million a month? Like how much bath? Don't you just at some point go, how many more million do you need? I mean,
if you have $240 million, you start a hedge fund. Right? I mean, literally, she could have made a move on Apple. Seriously, I'm thinking about it. When you're making that in 5 years in that business, right? She could have made $1 billion.
Yeah. Do you think someday Black China is going to buy Tesla? Like that would be amazing, right? We need new storylines.
In 5 years of it, and she had $1 billion, she could buy pretty much a lot of stuff. She could just literally start buying a lot of the small. Imagine, right? You're like, Black China has now bought Subway.
Yeah.
Hey, hopefully we'll cover that one day.
I'd be real curious
I'm
to
into
see
it.
how much of it she has left, right? Because anytime you have people,
Well, apparently
with that much
nothing.
money,
That's the thing. So
Oh,
they said now she's asking Tyga for $170,000 a month, and he said, "Why in the world would I pay you child support? The kid stays with me."
Yeah.
Wait, it gets crazier. I said, "What in the world happened to the $240 million? My God, you should be a trillionaire by now."
Mm.
And they said she had spent it.
How do you spend $240 million?
With
I
a
said,
bunch of your
"What did she
bad
buy?"
you know, when you're young and you come from, I mean, look at Ray Lewis. Look at Ray Lewis, right? Perfect example. Like came from the hood, you know.
Yeah,
Blew up a
but
little
here's
bit.
the thing, and
He's
I
got
don't disagree
70
with you. Did he
cousins.
make $240 million? I don't even. I used to work on Wall Street. I never heard anybody make that kind of money in a year. Michael Milken made $580 million in like 1983, and people were mystified.
I mean, look at Mike Tyson
It's
and
insane.
Don King. Don King was making
that's
more
true.
than Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
That's true.
So when you're talking about a group of people that are like financially undereducated, you know, right? And you come in that kind of money, it's probably getting spent by everybody's got their hand in their pocket, and she probably was mismanaged. And
I mean, $240 million to Jerome's point. That is
That is true. Yeah.
Winners, everyone always loses all the lottery money.
She's like, look at my gold-plated house.
That's true.
You know,
It's insanity.
I love drugs. I don't think I could do $240 million worth of drugs.
That is a lot of money.
you could, but
in a
there'd be no
year,
more
that
show.
is a ton of money. It is
I do my best.
ungodly.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to do it, Molly. I'm going to do it for you.
All right, 240 mil.
All right, one more. What we got?
Why
One
not?
more story.
Okay. I apologize in advance for saying this. So I totally disagree with age is just a number. If you're 80, it means you're old. So I don't think 80-year-olds belong in a CrossFit gym or a pickleball court or, well, the best example yet, President of the United States.
Agreed.
Okay. So I'll get hate from this, but there's a reason why pickleball is also a sport that has contributed to like close to $500 million.
What is this?
In healthcare. It's not because it's dangerous, but it's because seniors haven't done anything physical
Old
in
people.
years.
That's right.
Yeah, and they try to get into a sport that's way too quickly.
That's
without
made
doing
for
anything.
me.
Yeah.
Look at this guy though. He's pushing up 135. Not bad. I mean, it's on.
Well, he works there, so of course he is.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about this whole senior getting in shape thing because of this show, The Golden Bachelor. Our nice 71-year-old here, sepia tone, like Robin was yesterday.
He has a hearing aid.
His skin matches his suit.
It's all the same color. Very monotone.
Wow.
God.
And this is the lineup of the chicks right here. And I just wanted to say, listen, I'm never going to watch an episode of this, but I'm not loving.
It's really good.
What about the chick in the tracksuit? Is she even trying?
She came in. Oh, hold on a second. It was a whole skit. She did a pom-pom routine, cheerleading routine.
She might be the coolest one, though, honestly.
Well, she didn't change before the lineup, I guess.
I mean, don't change. Be who you are.
I got to be honest. Like, I mean, take what you will, but like, it's actually a pretty good show, and the women are very entertaining. I haven't seen their pickleball games, but there's a couple in there that I feel like could really do some damage on the court.
There should be a dating show that's
their knees. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this: the one on the far left is in it to win it. She cleans up.
Far
nice.
left. Yes.
Black.
Can I just tell you the one directly beside him in the brown? Or is that brown or gold or whatever?
Yeah.
She's been doing real well so far.
You don't say. You don't say. I could see that. I could see that. So he's 71.
The rose, the first impression rose. That's right.
I should hope so. How many of these do you think pee their pants at night? Old people pee their pants.
I mean, I don't think they're that old. You know Jimmy Kimmel? You ever heard of him? He's a comedian. His aunt or grandma or mother or somebody, Conchetta, was on there, like as a skit. Oh. And she wakes up, right? She falls asleep on the couch. She's like 83, and she goes, "Did I win a rose?" And I don't know, whoever the host is was like, "No." He's like, "A pedal." It was really funny.
That's good. I think we've talked about this before, but old folks' homes are like riddled with syphilis. So I think you reach a certain age and you just don't care anymore.
That's where this story's going.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But my point of this story was that this fitness trainer who's 81 years old and he's only taking on older clients is doing the Lord's work because he's introducing them to low impact training, which is what they should be doing, staying active, but not like pushing it to the limit with trying to keep up with the youngsters.
My mother likes Jimmy Kimmel's aunt. Way to go, Mom. Aren't you?
Yeah, she is hilarious.
My mother's tuning in from Ireland. Isn't that exciting? We have an international.
Hey.
International. We're international.
Aaron, go, bruh.
That's right.
I like it when old people are at the gym because I can lift more than them and I can bully them. So I'm a big fan.
We'll come to the pickleball court and you'll get a humility.
Well, no, you got to go.
If you go to the pickleball court and they're putting on braces and screwing their legs on, they're going to destroy you.
I'll do some curls next to this guy and call him a bitch. I don't give a fuck. It makes me feel better.
Oh Lord!
You better not let him get you on the pickleball court.
No, that would be ridiculous. I think I used to play old people in racquetball. They kicked the shit out of me, and I didn't feel very good about myself.
They're insane.
Oh, look at the time. It's time to talk to Molly about everything we're doing wrong. Finally.
So what are these guys doing wrong?
Nothing. You're killing it. Especially
we're
Thank
hilarious.
You. Thank you.
So, well, first of all, for the general public, because they didn't do a deep dive drunk on their couch last night, but like I did. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm a stand-up comedian from Brooklyn, actually.
Very good.
I own a digital content agency. I produce branded podcasts, and I live in Costa Rica, where white people in particular, really love pickleball. It's phenomenal.
Really?
Yes, all the gringos.
All the gringos.
They should call it gringo ball.
I love it. I love pickleball. I don't know if you heard.
Rodney, have you considered going down to Costa Rica and really challenging yourself? Because it sounds like an invitation.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do a pickleball retreat, Rodney?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love it. I love it. I'm going to one in the winter, and they said, well, are there going to be any pros there? I said, of course, I'm going to be there. I'm not a pro yet, but eventually, in the next 20 years, I see it coming to fruition. Yeah. All
right. Well, pickleball aside, I do. So I'm sorry. I'm looking at my phone because I took drunk notes last night. Okay, let's talk about microphones. So we all sound like shit, but you suggest is it the Shure MV7? Is that what it is?
That's a fantastic microphone. You can't get it wrong.
How much is it?
I think it's like $250, and then if you get like the boom arm and the earbuds and the mic, it's $350.
Is that what we should do? Would that help the quality of the sound on this show?
100%. I mean, listen.
Would it help the quality of the content? Because I think that's where we're really struggling.
You're killing it. The content's great. The content is great. So don't change there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 99% of a good recording is how it was recorded, right? Like, so it's always going to be about your audio, anytime you're talking about an audio.
Your audio is exceptional.
Yeah.
I got the Shure MV7 right
That's
next
what you use.
to my face.
Do they know that you're a spokesperson for them? Because
they do. They give me free stuff. No, they don't. I'm lying. No, but I just really. I mean, it's Shure. They've been making microphones for 100 years. You could throw this thing across the room, plug it back in, it would work. So
John Mayer uses them. I wonder why.
There you go. So we need 3 of those. Okay, so you made a point in one of your many videos that I watched last night that it's sort of dumb not to start with the best equipment. And your analogy is you wouldn't show up to a business meetings in sweatpants. But can I just push back on this a little bit? Like Rodney didn't go out and spend $1,000 on a paddle right away, right? Didn't we need to try this out, see if we're good at it, see if we like it? Because one more thing before you go. January 1st, everybody shows up to the gym and matching shit. It's like, oh, this is the year. It's an aspirational purchase. And then a week later, they're done. So I think what we wanted to do is see if we were good at this, see if it's a thing we wanted to do, and then invest monetarily. Does that make sense?
No.
Start with the best, right?
I was expecting that.
I mean, listen, it's all about, it's a lot of different things. If you want people to listen, right? A lot of people are audiophiles and care about the audio, and we're all burnt out from being on Zoom calls all day. We listen to Dolby surround sound and everything is high end, and then we spend 8 hours a day listening to each other in a tuna can on Zoom, and everybody's got a little fatigue from that, right? So the earbuds, they're like the most offensive thing in the room. Honestly, I hate those things. We like in every single confirmation email, we're like, do not wear AirPods. Because you know who loves AirPods? People who wear AirPods. You know who hates AirPods? Everybody they're talking to, because those things suck and they pick
you guys
up
cut out. What's
sound.
that?
Yeah, exactly. And look at where your microphone is. It's up by your ears. It doesn't make any sense, right? So, but here's the rub. here's the rub. If you want to start a podcast about cats, don't go buy a microphone because you're going to get maybe 3 episodes in, you're going to quit. So save your money. You're absolutely right. But I would say, dial it back a little further. Why are you doing the podcast in the first place? If you're doing the podcast as a business development tool and to make money and to create visibility, then you should have a good microphone. If you're doing it because you want to have fun and you're just messing around, then like, don't worry about it. Right. So it really just depends on what the mission of the content is.
Right.
And you know, it just depends on your preference. You know, we produce a lot of branded podcasts specifically as a business development tool, like interview 10 people you want to do business with kind of thing. You know, so you want to have higher quality. You want to chop that up for social. You want to be able to use that. You want to use it for thought leadership, all that nonsense, right? So the higher quality it is, the smarter you're going to sound. There's a little psychology behind it, you know?
So when you sign up a client, you go, listen, you're going to buy this mic. We have to buy it online.
We send it to them. When you pay us to start a podcast, we send you the microphone because I got sick of buying the Yeti. People buying the Yeti.
Can I ask you one other question? I have a Yeti. I didn't have enough sense to set it up. Here's my question, right? It's probably stupid, but I don't necessarily like my AirPods. Is there another option? Because can I just show you? This is the other option I have, which I figured you would really go crazy about. Like if I buy that microphone, can I get things that go in my ears or something?
Yeah, you can still use your AirPods, but you would just designate the new microphone as the mic, and you would designate the AirPods as your audio source coming in. So you can still have those. Like I'm wearing these little. I mean, I tell people all the time, the earbuds are the least important. You could use the free ones they give you on the airplane. In fact, sometimes those are better because they don't have a microphone on them, right? You just need to eliminate the. Honestly, the biggest thing people could do to improve the quality of their recordings is put in headphones, because people show up to podcasts all the time not wearing headphones, and then you have audio, you have, you know, all the
Look at Robin, feels so justified.
I know,
right
Robin's like, that's the look of satisfaction right there.
After being shit on for 3 months.
Yeah, but I like yours because you can't see anything, right? Like I feel like Robin's DJing. Like if I had that on right now, I would be like, Pharrell, play the next one.
Like what?
Yeah, right. It's like, what's RS doing?
You don't think it would decrease my sex appeal if I had things in my ears? I think I'd like to do a whole.
It would ruin the hair.
Yeah, well,
I'm
you
like,
definitely
go ahead,
can't.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, I can't do a Robin. I could maybe do a Rodney.
Or we can make you some specialized headphones with like a double.
They go straight up and over.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good look.
What about like a chin
Two
strap?
little ears. Two little ears. The chin strap. Two little
Chin
ears.
strap. Oh my God, do they sell those? I'm gonna look on Amazon after this show. Okay, so you said the gain. My gain. What is gain? Gain's bad. Not good.
Okay,
Gain.
so when you have a microphone and you have any kind of settings on the microphone, so like if you get to Shure MV7, it has an app, you can dial it in. And the gain is like a window, okay? So if the gain is a little bit small, it's like the window being cracked and the noise from the outside barely comes in. If the window's all the way open, then the sirens and all the noise is coming in. That's what the gain is. So when you're on an audio thing and somebody's recording and you can hear everything, everybody with the Yeti, for example, they say, I love my Yeti. I just wish I couldn't hear my neighbor's lawnmower. I'm like, that's because it's not the right mic and your gain is turned up too high. So like this microphone, for example, if I even talk on the side like that, you see how different my audio sounds because it's got excellent rejection, just like my Tinder profile, honestly. So, so that's what makes the difference in a good microphone is, just
and what's this microphone called? The MC? What is it? I'm sorry, say it again.
Shure MV7.
Yeah,
Robin, write that down.
We need it.
Can you get it around for us, Robin? I don't know where the pins are. Everything's been moved.
I'll send you a link. There's a local company called Podcast Outfitters that sells them, and I have a discount code for you guys or your listeners or whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah,
we love it.
I need some business expenses, so it sounds like I'm getting one. It's pretty exciting. I have some other questions. Well, let's do some.
I have a million questions, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, you said there's 3 pillars. There's strategy, production, and amplification. I think right now we're shooting around in the dark for strategy. Our production value is very low, and we really haven't figured out how to amplify. So could you help us in any particular way?
Well, just quit. That's my business. No, I'm just kidding. No, your podcast is fantastic. I love it. I mean, your podcast is a little different. You guys have a lot more personality. You're a lot more fun. That's right, Alex. I hope I said it.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell him, Alex.
Well, I think what happens with podcasting is people are like, I want to have a podcast. I'm just going to do it. They don't really have a strategy at all. They don't think about who they're interviewing. And you see it all the time. People have a podcast. They do it every week. They're interviewing entrepreneurs. They get on. They're like, so your name is Tom. Tom, tell us your origin story. It's like, why are you wasting your time, right? What is the strategy? Why are you interviewing those people? What's the point? What's the end game? What's the result from interviewing these people? Most people get totally focused on the production of the podcast, and they're recording themselves, and they're editing themselves, and they're on GarageBand, and they're spending all this time to make it sound worse than they recorded it. And it's like, you want to play the violin for the reception later, do your taxes, maybe crank out an oil change this weekend. Like, just let somebody edit your audio. Like, let pros handle the production of it, and then you focus on the amplification, right? But again, I'm coming from a business development, like, your podcast is supposed to make you money, right? So my method is like, interview 10 people you want to do business with, and that's a wrap. And then maximize that content for the rest of the quarter, versus every other podcast producer in town is going to tell you reps, podcast for a year, do 140 episodes. Man, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your podcast. Anytime I see a podcast and it's like episode 257, I'm like, first of all, you suck at SEO. And if you haven't said it in 257 episodes, you ain't going to say it now. And I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Who was that guy? Was it Aaron we had on? Aaron Watson?
Yeah.
It was one of them, and they said the exact same thing. They go episode 590. Who? No one cares.
Oh,
Unless you're Joe Rogan, nobody cares. And it's funny you say that, because Tim Ferriss and Joe Rogan one time, like not together but separately, they were asked, "Why do you give numbers?" And they're like, "So you can find it." But do you really think someone's looking up episode 81 of the Eric and Rodney? No, they don't care.
Well, and here, listen, discoverability and searchability are two entirely different things. If you're already listening to my podcast, you can find it. I'm trying to get new people to listen to my podcast. So I would rather it be discoverable versus searchable, right? And it's all SEO. The first 126 characters or whatever it is all your SEO. So if your episode numbers are like episode 227, the Molly show, you just burned all your SEO. It should be like, overcoming digital transformation in a recession. Not episode 157.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just have 2 points. One, not only do I know what your name is and what you do, but I also know that you had a 21-year-old dog and you have weak bones. So once again,
wait, you have a 21-year-old dog? Wow.
Oh, rest in peace. I put her down 3 weeks ago, but that's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up so it would get emotional. This is the emotional arc of the show. This is where everyone gets upset. What about the weak bones? I thought that was no one cares about that. She has weak bones.
No, just keep it moving. No, anyway.
I'm sorry for your weak bones.
Hey, so am I, frankly, No, I wasn't supposed to live 20 years. I had a team of doctors at Bethesda Naval my whole life. My dad was a two-time Vietnam vet, and was exposed to some funky stuff. And so I grew super fast. I'm like Benjamin Button, but in reverse. So
you get those Agent Orange bones.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They glow in the dark, so it's a good time. I'm a hit of raves. Yeah, man.
So my only pushback to the thing is that I think our strategy was we didn't know if we were going to be any good. So I think you need reps in the beginning, because I hear a lot of fucking podcasts and I go, that guy could use some batting practice. And I think this is our batting practice era. We didn't know, like, we could have sucked at this, and then doing the 12 episodes that were terrible. Like, I'd much rather do those 12 after we get some at bats.
I feel like it was a lot more than 12 for us, but yes, carry on.
I told this is how it happened, Molly. I called. I came back from vacation. I had been away for months, it seemed, and I came back and I said, "Eric, what's going on?" And he said, "Did you know there's a thing called LinkedIn Live?" I said, "I never heard of it." And he said, "Well, what do you think about it?" I said, "Let's do a daily show." I called Robin. I said, "Robin, we're going to do a daily show. It starts tomorrow, showtime." And here we are.
Can you tell? I mean, God, this is so professional. Can you believe it? That's the origin story?
It is professional. I think you guys are doing a great job. I think for what you're doing it exactly right. I think it would be a little better if you guys all had microphones, but that's I've been
that's audio. That's going to change.
I mean, yeah, and I've been producing audio for 20 years. Like, if I didn't say that, I would get my audio card revoked. You know what I mean? But other than that, you guys are doing a great job. You're consistent. You're funny. You're bringing people on. You're constantly. I mean, ever since I followed you guys on LinkedIn, you're dominating my entire LinkedIn. Which, honestly, thank you. It's so much better than the fucking dissertation style. I'm gonna write one sentence, put 2 spaces, write anher sentence, put 2.
That's what I do. That's what I do. That's my style.
LinkedIn.
Oh my God, it's like an AOL chat room on LinkedIn. I'm like, is this work? Are you paying me to read these posts? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but you know what? Too, it's just pedantic and pathetic and unoriginal and derivative.
Thanks,
guys. Not you necessarily, but everyone on LinkedIn. I always say it's like a high school without any cool kids. Everyone's a follower. Alex Hormozy comes out. We're like, oh my God, that's the guy. And then, holy shit, that's the guy. Vaynerchuk, holy shit. No one is original. Everyone's derivative. There's zero cool kids. The cool kids are on TikTok, or I don't fucking.
You guys are the cool kids at LinkedIn.
Who? We're trying. We're trying to be the Howard Stern of LinkedIn.
I'm trying.
Which I feel like shouldn't be that hard, right? I mean,
there's no competition, and
exactly.
next week we'll throw baloney at a stripper's ass. See how that goes. That's a old Howard.
That's Thursdays. We've all gotten hate mail.
We have all gotten hate mail. I'll give it to that. Yes. Catholic joke, masturbating on a cookie, and racism. So just so you know.
No, those are 3 hot topics right there for sure.
Yes. Oh, I have so many questions. Rodney, do you have any while I look at my notes?
No, yeah, I have a couple questions. What do you think we could do better besides our microphones? And I'm asking for Robin. I'm joking. I figured Robin.
I mean, I think you guys are doing great. Honestly, you're doing a daily show. So, I mean, you're doing it exactly right. You've cut your production way down by doing it live. You know, you're making short little cuts of it. You're tagging people. Your pre-work was excellent, right? The person that I booked with who was like, hey, make sure you follow the guys on LinkedIn and all that. Like, you know, so that way was it you, Robin? Because it was like the initial email. Okay, my bad.
Robin, yeah.
So, Robin, and so, that was super helpful. And I did exactly that. I went and watched your show and gave you unsolicited podcast advice. It's my favorite thing to do.
There you go. We solicited you. Well, no, the message to me was unsolicited. But other than that.
But no, I think it's really great because that's part of the strategy too. Like so many people don't like give people advance notice. What are we going to talk about? This is what to expect. Make sure I had a client recently whose guest was in a dental appointment. He said, hang on, I got to spit. We were like, is this really happening?
At some of us, we've had a couple of guys in cars, but that's like the worst.
We had a couple of people talking from the shadows. Remember Aaron Watson said that? He was like, they're talking from the shadows, right? Because it's like the camera's off.
Yeah. See, this is why I think the first 100 episodes, we're learning a lot. I think we're going to get a lot better. I mean, for the last 20, we're going to have better mics. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at that.
I don't know if you said it or one of your guests, but there's something starting ugly, but having a plan. I think that's what we generally did, right? Like we just fucking started, and I think we figured out something.
And we're still ugly.
Start ugly, finish ugly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Consistency is key.
Well,
I mean, well,
I took that from Elon, right? He's like, he said one time, he's like, if everyone works 40 hours and you work 80 hours, you'll be in a year, in 6 months, you'll be where they are in a year. And I'm not saying you got to work 80 hours, but if we do a show every day, right,
you're gonna get the reps in. So there's a guy named Chris Kremitzos. You guys ever go to Podfest? You should.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the information. You guys should go to Podfest. It's a great thing. And a guy named Chris Kremitzos started it, and it's an awesome podcast convention. You guys really enjoy it, and you make a lot of really great connections there to help you with in fact, I'm going to introduce you guys as my contact at Shore. Maybe they'll hook it up a little bit.
There you go.
Yes.
Now that I'm saying that out loud. So, but Chris Kremitzos wrote a book called Start Ugly. And it's kind of like, listen, if you keep waiting for the perfect scenario, if you keep waiting for everything, then you're never going to do it. You just got to get out there and do it, right? Like you do something once, you're going to suck at it. The next time you'll suck a little less. By the third time you're an industry expert, people pay you to do it, right? So that's the arc of life.
That's right.
I mean, but sometimes people just start and it's like, why are you interviewing entrepreneurs about failure and you own an insurance company? Like, let's rewind this track, Top Selector, and let's get a little bit more targeted. So, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, but also don't run out in the street blind because you need to have a plan. Because at the end of the day, if you're running a business, right, then you don't have a lot of time for other stuff. And so having a podcast can be a major suck and it's a total ego bruise. As you know, you're like, we put all this work into it and 4 people watched it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Us every day. We didn't wait until we were talented or smart. We just know that we're hot and we belong on camera. So
and here you are, so I think it's a balance between the two, but having a strategy is really important. And I think there's just a lot of people who are like, start a podcast. It'll help you get business. You'll reach your intended audience. Listen, no one's ever going to hire you because they heard you on a podcast, unless you're somebody like an Alex Ramosi who's on 1,000 podcasts a day, right? No one's ever going to hire you because they saw you on a podcast ever.
Can I just say that you are podcast promiscuous? Because usually I do research and it's like 2 or 3. I'm like, all right, but you're on 1 billion of them. But I think that's how you grow, right? I mean, you might not get hired, but you should be out there, and you're out there.
Well, you know how you make business from going on podcasts is you nurture the relationship with the host. The host is your key. The host is your key to making more money and closing more deals because that host knows all the kinds of people they can connect you with. Oh, you're a podcast producer? I had a guy on my show last week who's looking for somebody. I'm going to make that connection. Right. That's how you generate revenue from podcasting through podcast guesting. But it's not like it's such a long haul. And as you know, like you're looking at your download numbers, you're like, why are we even doing this? And it takes a long time for that to catch up. where the money making is in the relationship. So if you're going on other people's podcasts and the host of that podcast is the relationship, and if it's your podcast and it's the relationship with the guests that you have on. So pick people that you actually want to have a relationship with, right? You know, and so if you're just interviewing people that are not adjacent to your industry or people you want to work with or anything at all, then you're straight up wasting your time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we started out with the friends and family thing, but we're slowly working, because here's the other thing too. If they're in our industry, like if they're in marketing or they really care about business, the interview is 1,000 times better. So
Yeah.
it not only it serves two masters. I think it's good for business, but it's also good for the actual show. So I'm totally
It
on
was
board
either
with-
that or a crime podcast
Oh yeah, we love
Exactly.
where we committed crimes.
People love sadness.
You do love sadness. All right, so this is a screenshot from your YouTube page, and this is very impressive. We have to get here, by the way, guys. So all her
This is
shows and
nice.
other people, these are your clients, I suppose. But Spencer Haywood has 37,000 views from his pilot episode. I mean, you're doing pretty good. These are your clients, right?
Yeah, and that was 100% organic.
Well, it had. If you see here, it's with Chuck D.
Well, fucking Chuck D. I watched the clip.
Yeah,
You have
I
a
mean,
clip of the
he's
Chuck D
massive.
one.
Nope.
Yeah.
But that one's pretty low. That's 255. The 37,000 one was the pilot episode.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you a little. Do you guys know who Spencer Haywood is?
Yeah, he's an NBA. He played for the Supersonics, right?
Yeah, but no. It's so much deeper than that. Spencer Haywood was born into indentured slavery in 1947 in Silver City, Mississippi. Okay. Yeah, wrap your head around that one for a hot second, right? And he said, ain't no silver and ain't no city. He was literally like his earliest memories are being on strapped to his mom's back while they're picking cotton. 6'6".
Wow.
He was discovered shooting hoops with his buddies after working in literally uneducated picking cotton in the fields as a teenager. Somebody saw him play basketball, recruited him. Within a year, he was at the Olympics and led the world in points, scores, and rebounds, and held that record for like over a decade or longer. Right? They had to educate him and teach him how to look people in the eye. I mean, his story is absolutely insane. Was in the NBA, got wrapped up in drugs and stuff, of course, because it's he had no capability of being able to handle what was being thrown at him. And they're awesome, exactly. And he didn't have a lot of he didn't last very long in the NBA, but what he did do is he sued the NBA, went to the Supreme Court, and it's because of him that the one and done rule, before people had to play 4 years of college before they could go pro. And so they were just basically using people and ruining their bodies and making millions of dollars off them and then throwing them away. And he sued the Supreme Court. He also sued the NBA through the Supreme Court. He also sued them and got insurance for the NBA and NFL players, long after they've retired. And the dude's a genius. He's literally one of the best people you ever met in your life. Humble guy. And I said, Spencer, I want to do this pilot episode with you, so we're just going to get on the thing and I'll ask you some questions. I said, all right, Spencer, so tell us who you are. And he sat down and talked for an hour straight. We did that entire thing in one take.
Holy shit.
Wow.
One take.
You know what's wild is that we still have people alive whose parents were slaves. But racism doesn't exist, right? There's no such thing as institutional racism. Why? It's just fucking mind-blowing.
1947. 1947.
My mom was born in 49.
Exactly. My mom was born in 1946. So it's picking cotton. It's mind blowing. And then look what he did. He's created generational wealth for generations of athletes, black, white, and everything in between. Right. So
changed the game.
Oh, he 100% has changed the game. Super nice. One of the nicest people we ever met, honestly.
We get a podcast too. So he had Chuck D on. Audible has a podcast series, and Chuck D's episode is called Songs That Changed the World. It might be the best podcast I've ever listened to. Everybody listen to Chuck D's podcast on Audible.
I'm a huge hip hop head, so I was like, oh shit, Chuck D's on the podcast. And he was super cool. He's super cool, super humble, really nice. Can't say enough good things.
I was hoping to get DMX in ours, but
he was a national treasure.
He was a national treasure. May he rest in peace. All right. So God, we don't have 7 minutes. Okay. So you have a lot of camp content, but you have I get the list of them. You had the next 100. You have camp content. You have the lower third. So you have many iterations of shows. You're evolving your show. This is the new one, right? Camp content. This is the
this is really for the business. This is an opportunity to, I went on a mission earlier in the year. I was like, I just want to drum up some business and get in front of some people. And so I just went on as many podcasts as I could, and we started doing camp content twice a week. Really just the same kind of similar what you guys are doing. We do it LinkedIn Live as well. So I just want to keep showing up in people's faces. So when they think about starting a podcast, they think of me. That was the strategy behind it, really.
Well, twice a week. You got to do that shit every day. Listen, you want some advice from some
Yeah.
I do want to say too, I read your stuff, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show, but you're a really fucking good writer. Like your regular business, obviously you're very successful, but your writing is funny and entertaining, and it flows in very anti LinkedIn. So
you're very charismatic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I started doing that newsletter pretty recently, or more consistently than LinkedIn newsletter. And my dad called me up and he's like, you know, you're pretty good at this. And it was like the first compliment he's ever given me my whole life. I fell over. But
those fucking Irish fathers.
I know.
Too, like, I don't want to go back to the dead dog, but the dead dog thing was I laughed. It was fun. I know it was probably, I mean, you threw in a couple of jokes, but it was good. Anyone that can make dead dog humor work, and I hate dogs, but it was funny.
I love dogs. Eric. So here's the thing. Eric loves cats and hates dogs. I love dogs and I love cats. I love animals.
You're a good person. That's yeah.
I just hate people.
Yeah, people are out. Animals in. That's the
yeah.
Except for this chick. I'm a big fan of hers. If you guys see her.
We all.
So can I ask you what podcast you listen to? Like, not just
the Eric and Rodney show with Robin.
Besides this one, what else?
I'm an avid fan, but well, you know, don't hate me too much. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, to be honest. I know that's a little apropos. I guess it's like chefs who don't cook at home, but I do love me some Alex Hormozy, but I was an early adopter.
I do too. I love Alex Hormozy. I just finished. Sorry, I don't want to get off on tangent. I just finished $100 million. Leads. Yeah, it's incredible. He's incredible.
Molly read it when it first came out. I learned that because I did research. But yeah,
he's incredible. And his stuff is just like I sit there and read it, and it's like literally not to plug him, but it's like common sense when you think about it. But it's just so genius. The guy's a savant. I'm sorry, go on.
He just distills it, and what I really like about him is like the first book, $100 million offers. He did like 8 different versions of the book. Like he would get it to where he wanted it, and then he would go in and cut out a bunch more filler, and then he did it again, and then he did it again. And it's like a 4-hour book that will literally change your business. I've listened to that book 7 times. Like every few months, I listen to it again. It's 4 hours. You speed it up. You're 2 hours in on a car trip. Listen to it again, and you always get more gems. And I like his podcast because they're short and sweet. And I half the time when I'm listening to his podcast, he'll say something. I'll pause it. I'll go to my desk and I'll implement something new. Like he literally
I watch him in the mornings and take notes while he's talking.
Yeah, he's so good, man. He's so good. And I don't care if he's a gym bro. I don't care if people think it's a call. I don't give a shit about any of that, man.
I don't care who I learn how to make money from.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I'm agnostic. Just teach me how to make money. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know much about him, but I knew it would get you two going, which is why I said it.
Well, you did.
But I'm a huge audiobook person. I've listened to like 140 books in the last 4 years, primarily in the first 3 years because I really wanted to. Well, my backstory is I was in the music business, right? That's why I'm, a little more spicy than most because I'm jaded in therapy from dealing with artists for 20 years. But I've run a multimedia company for 20 years. So I had a 3-story building in Washington, D.C. I managed 160 artists. I did all the shows. I still do stuff. I'm still like doing town halls for the mayor and all wrapped up into that world. And I just kind of wanted to work for people who would pay me and not be drunk all the time. So, I was like, well, I'm going to start a company and produce content, branded podcasts for businesses as a B2B tool and not, working with musicians anymore. And so that kind of was the catalyst to coming over. And I had a business partner who had the MBA and the, project PMP cert and all that. And I was like, I can build studios. Like I know how to run equipment. I know marketing, branding, messaging, all that. I know how to record. I know how to do all that stuff. I had that IP in those relationships, but she was a business person and she lasted about 6 weeks and was like, I'm out because she didn't realize that being a startup means that your life sucks and you work like 90 hours a week. Like there's
nobody to make the copies.
Yeah. It's not fun or sexy. It's grueling and shitty and terrible. Hard and it's terrible. And so she was like, I'm out. I can't do it. I'm giving you the rest of the company. I'm out. Like, we'll call it even. And I was like, okay. So at that point, I was like, well, I got to fill in the gaps what I don't know. And instead of looking for somebody to come save me, I just read 140 books on business development and, consumed them as rapidly as I could.
Well, it seems to be working out because you had a brick and mortar in Washington, D.C., and now you're living the dream in Costa Rica with the chupacabras. So things are working.
Yeah, well, everybody was talking about pivot, and I don't think you should change who you are or what you do. You just need to do it in a different way. So, yeah, we were very brick and mortar business, and then the great Panini hit, and the city got locked down, and so I closed the lease on my house and my studio. Everybody thought I was nuts. I closed the lease in April of 2020. Everybody's like, what are you talking about? It's going to be a couple weeks. I'm like, y'all need to read more books or at least watch PBS because this is a pandemic and it ain't going away. So I closed the leases and I took a month off and we regrouped and I just went fully remote. We grew the business 200% in 2020 because
shit.
business still needs to happen, you know,
This
in a pandemic.
right here, as a matter of fact, right?
Yes, that's the one.
I feel like your messaging is very direct. I like it.
Thank you.
I'm a little
Boy,
confused.
it's
So it's
spoken.
No, I
possible-
do. Like when you go to websites, right? And it's like, I don't know what in the world they're talking about.
Like, what do you do? Yeah, what do you do, man? So,
all right.
so
Well, we're about to get kicked off LinkedIn Live, so I don't want to cut you off. But if
Yeah.
anybody wants a professionally produced podcast and a free microphone, well, with the business, where do you think they should go?
heartcastmedia.com is the best place.
All right, Molly, you were an incredible guest. You know, it
You
really
really were,
helps
Mike.
when people have done a million podcasts and they know how to be a guest. So everyone who's going to come on the show, do me a favor, do a million podcasts. It's just,
Or watch this episode.
or watch this episode. Either way, Molly, please don't leave. But I have to sign off. I want to talk to you in the green room. I'm trying to get a free course out of you. But
Don't
we'll be
hit
back
leave
tomorrow,
studio.
man. Yeah. See you tomorrow with Paulie Pistachios. Is that what we call it?
Holy Pistachios is here.
Tune in tomorrow. for
Pistachios will
Paulie
be in the
Pistachios.
building.